Hello, my name is Emma, and in today's lesson, we are going to talk about some common mistakes English learners make when they talk about money. These are some mistakes I've actually heard my students make during class or during conversation circles that I run on teacheremma.com. If you're ever interested in practicing more English, you can actually come to teacheremma.com where we talk about different conversation topics like money. So these are all real examples of mistakes I have heard. So let's look at some of them. Okay, so the first mistake I often hear people make when they talk about money has to do with whether money is a countable noun or an uncountable noun. So let's look at some examples and try to figure out, can we count money? And by money, I mean the word money. Can we say one money, two monies, three monies? Is this correct in English? No. So in English, we can't use an S on the word money. It is uncountable. Some of you might say, but I can count money. In English, we count dollars, we count cents, we count euros, we count pesos, we count bills, but money is a category. We do not use countables when we're talking about money. So this is not correct in English. What about the words much money, many money, a lot of money? Are there any mistakes here? Yes, there is a mistake. One of these is incorrect. Can you guess which one it is? Can we say much money? I don't have much money. This is okay. And the reason is money is uncountable. We can use much with uncountable nouns. Can we say many money? I have many money. No. So this is incorrect. We do not say many money. If you get confused with many and much, what I recommend you do is just use a lot. You can use a lot with countable or uncountable nouns. So this is correct. You can say a lot of money. And again, notice there is never an S on money. Even if we are talking about a lot of money, there is no S because it is uncountable. Now, I already mentioned there are forms of money we can count. We can count dollars. So if I'm counting dollars, I can put an S. I can say I have $2. I have $5. I have $50 million. I don't have $50 million, but I wish I did. We can add an S for cents. So cents is less than $1. For example, this number would be $8.25. So we add an S to the word cents when there's more than one, because cents is countable. It's the same with euros. If we're talking about being in Europe, in a country where we use euros, you can add an S. Or pesos, or other types of currencies, we can add an S when we talk about money. Now, what about pronunciation? I often hear different English learners make a mistake with how they say the word money. This part of the word is a strong E sound. So you really need to pronounce this part of the word. I notice some of my Brazilian students don't pronounce the E strong enough. So when you pronounce this word, you really need to say E, money. So why don't you take a moment to practice that? Let's say, I have a lot of money. And again, it's two parts, money, money. All right, so now let's look at some other common mistakes people make when they talk about money. Okay, so now I wanted to look at some pronunciation mistakes I hear when people talk about things related to money. So, often when we talk about money, people often talk about how they use their money. One common thing people need is housing. So when people buy a house and they don't have enough money to buy the house, they go to the bank and they get a mortgage. I hear many learners make mistakes in the pronunciation of this word. So the word is mortgage. There is a T in this word, but we don't pronounce the T. So even though there's a T in the spelling, when we pronounce it, we say mortgage. And the stress is on the first part, on the more. Mortgage. Another word that many learners make mistakes with is this word bought. Bought is the past tense of the verb to buy. So when we're talking about what we buy, and we're talking about the past, we say bought. Why do people have trouble with the pronunciation of this word? It's because of the O-U-G-H. There are different ways to pronounce O-U-G-H in English. The spelling is confusing. We pronounce O-U-G-H in different ways depending on the word. In this word, it's actually pronounced like an ah sound, like the same sound you would hear in the word jaw, ah. So I would pronounce this as bought. So here is the spelling. Here is the pronunciation. It's very different from what you might think looking at the spelling. So when you pronounce this word, don't pronounce a G, don't pronounce an H. It's pronounced like bought. Another way you can remember this is it's like robot, bought. The robot bought another robot. I don't know, it's not a great sentence, but you get the understanding. Okay, the next word is budget. Budget is a word we use when we talk about money, especially when we are trying to be careful with our money. People make a budget. A budget is a plan on how you will spend your money. Maybe you spend $5 every day on coffee. Maybe in your monthly budget, you spend $100 on transportation. Maybe you spend $1,000 on rent. So when we're talking about how much money we plan to use for different things, we're talking about a budget. So the pronunciation is very different from the spelling. In the spelling of this, you have a D and a G. When we say this word, we don't really pronounce the D sound, and the G becomes a J. So we say budget. I hear many people say baguette. That's not how we pronounce it. We say budget. Finally, another word I hear many learners make mistakes with is this word cheque. Cheque has two spellings in English. You can spell it C-H-E-Q-U-E, or you can spell it C-H-E-C-K. The pronunciation is the same whether you spell it this way or this way. Some students call this a cheque because they see this Q-U-E, but this is actually only one syllable. We say check. Okay, so that's some of the pronunciation mistakes I hear a lot. Now let's look at an important word that I want you to use that some learners might make a mistake with. And that word is bill. So bill is an important word we often use when we talk about money. In English, there are different meanings for the word bill. Bill can be a name, like Bill Clinton. Bill can be a type of money. So we have coins. So a coin is like this. And then we have bill, which is the paper money. So in the US, they have presidents on their bills. In Canada, we have a lot of strange things on our bills. We have the Queen of England. We sometimes have animals. Sometimes we have people playing hockey. So we have different things on our bills. But we can call this a bill. And again, bill is something you can count. Maybe in your wallet, you have 5 bills. That means you have 5 pieces of paper money. Another meaning of the word bill is a bill can be what you owe for something you bought. So for example, every month, at the end of the month, I get a bunch of bills. I don't like the end of the month because I get a bill for my rent, I get a bill for electricity, for heating, for the internet, for the phone, for cable. So I get many bills at the end of the month. And they tell me how much money I need to pay. So this kind of bill does not make me happy. This bill makes me happy. So there's 2 different meanings of bills, well, more than 2. If you want to remember this word, I like to think of Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton seems like a man who has a lot of bills, and he probably has a lot of these kind of bills as well. So you can remember this word by thinking of Bill Clinton has a lot of bills. All right, so now we're going to look at some other common mistakes people make when talking about money. Okay, so the next mistake I've heard learners make before is actually a little bit of a funny one. And that has to do with the understanding of different learners for this expression, make a killing. In English, make a killing does not mean murder or to kill someone. When we make a killing, it means we make lots of money. So if you have a great job and you work very hard and maybe you invest some money, maybe you make a killing. Again, that means you make a lot of money. It has nothing to do with killing in real life. Okay, so the next mistake I hear is often made by people who speak French, and that has to do with the word earn and win. When we talk about salary, we're talking about the money we make from our work. So when you have a job, a lot of jobs give you a salary. You might get a monthly salary. So salary is the amount of money you get from work. In English, we use the verb earn. We earn a salary. We do not win a salary. So for people who speak French, be careful because sometimes I hear French speakers say win a salary. It's actually earn a salary. We can also earn money. So you have a choice. You can talk about earning a salary or earning money. Now, the next mistake I often hear learners make has to do with the difference between money and currency. One of my students asked me about this today. What's the difference, Emma, between money and currency? Well, when we talk about currency, we usually use this word in specific situations. We use this word when we are talking about other countries' money. So when I'm talking about money in my everyday life, I'm talking about Canadian dollars. So I just use the word money. I'm not thinking about other types of money. But if I go traveling to England, for example, I'm going to talk about British currency. Or if I go traveling to Europe and I need to change my money from Canadian dollars into euros, that's when I use the word currency. So we use it a lot in business or when we're talking about money from other countries. So now let's look at a couple more common mistakes people make when talking about money. Okay, so I wanted to teach you 2 words, and then I'm going to show you another mistake. The words have to do with money and people. There are different types of people in the world, and when we talk about money, we can actually talk about spenders and savers. A spender is a person, and how do I know it's a person? Because it ends in ER, and usually ER means a person. So a spender is a person who likes to spend money freely. It's fun being friends with a spender. They like to go shopping, they like to buy new things, they like to go out to restaurants. So that's a spender. We also have this word saver. A saver is the opposite of a spender. A saver is a person who likes to save their money. So what I want you to do right now is just think, are you a spender or are you a saver or are you somewhere in the middle? These are great words to use when you're talking about money and personality. Okay, the next and final part of this video, I just wanted to talk about one more mistake I sometimes hear, and it has to do with an idiom. So idioms are used a lot in English, and it's very important when we use an idiom to use it correctly. If we make a mistake, it sounds very strange. So I have here an idiom we use to describe something that is very expensive. We can say it costs an arm and a leg. If something costs an arm and a leg, it means it's very expensive. When I went to university, it cost me an arm and a leg. That means university cost a lot of money. It was very expensive. Now, sometimes I hear learners try to use this, but they actually make a mistake. They say it costs a leg and an arm. So that sounds very strange to a native speaker of English. So this is not correct. If you use this expression, be careful to say arm first, leg second. All right. So we've covered a lot of different words we use to talk about money and a lot of different mistakes I often hear learners of English making when they talk about money. Now what I'd like to do is invite you to come check out our website at www.engvid.com. There you can actually take a quiz to practice what you learned here today. You can also ring the bell and subscribe to my YouTube channel. By doing so, you can get notifications for new videos on different topics like pronunciation, reading, writing, grammar, and so much more. I'd also like to invite you to come check out my website at www.teacheremma.com. There you can find some free resources along with some information about how to join my club. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.